While we're in Vanuatu this trip, we want to show you our medical missionary aviation work, as well as our work on the island of 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧 with the church and church school. Then we're going to take you up to the far remote part of Vanuatu in what is referred to as Vanuatu's last frontier. Welcome to Vanuatu's last frontier. The Republic of Vanuatu is an island nation located in the South Pacific Ocean along the volcanic Ring of Fire, about 1,000 miles east of northern Australia. Vanuatu consists of 82 relatively small islands formed by volcanoes. It's also very wet, and in 1 year it will rain about 93 inches or as much as 160 inches in the northern islands. There are about 221,000 people living in Vanuatu, but most of the area is rural, with the exception of several small towns and of course the capital city of Port Vila. In the 19th century, Catholic and Protestant missionaries arrived on these islands. With God's help, we're working to bring the three angels' messages and the testing truths for this time to these islands, and we're happy to report many people are coming to Christ and to a better understanding of God's character. This is how most people get around in the capital, Port Vila. They use these little minivans to travel. They're like taxis. If you went into the town, you'll notice that there's a lot of tourists all over from Australia, New Zealand, and Asia. They call it Port Vila because it is a main port for the country, and a lot of big ships, including cruise ships, come in here and they bring all the major commerce for the city as far as like electronics and hard goods into this port to be distributed throughout the country. Port Vila, the capital, is the largest city in Vanuatu and home to approximately 40,000 people. While in Port Vila, there was a cultural art festival which included a parade of various natives from different island provinces as they marched down Main Street. They dressed in their native and ceremonial garments as they made their way up to the park where the art festival was being held. This was a very unique opportunity for us to see the different tribes from the various islands at one place at one time, sporting their native dress and practicing their cultural dances. We're heading out to the airport right now to finish up the 100 hourly on Mark's plane, and then we're going to be flying out to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧 probably in the morning.
We're just finishing up the 100 hourly inspection on this plane, and it's always a good feeling to get to the end of the 100 hourly because
the engine oil is really clean.
Yeah, it's clean. We just changed the oil, yeah. So yeah, because we're working in such a remote place and we're flying over water all the time, we've got to just keep this aircraft in very good condition. So it's always a good feeling to just have finished the maintenance. Air Vanuatu have been very good to us. They recognise that we're doing charitable work in northern Vanuatu, and so they're allowing us to have very good facilities here for maintenance, and the engineers are helping us with inspections. So it's very, very helpful. We feel so thankful that God has opened this opportunity.
So where are we going to go tomorrow?
Tomorrow we're heading up to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗚𝗧, to the Banks, which is remote northern Vanuatu, where you get to see a bit of what's happening up there.
The flight from Port Vila up to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗚 in northern Vanuatu takes about 2.5 hours. Along the way we flew over some of Vanuatu's smaller islands. Having just left the civilization of the city of Port Vila, it's almost easy to forget that we are flying into the jungles of one of the most remote places in the world. After the flight, Dr. Turnbull's wife, Naomi, and their daughter, Kay, greeted us at the airstrip. After dropping off our bags, I headed out to the construction site to meet Scotty, an Australian volunteer who came out to help lay the foundation for the hangar.
As far as building this hangar is concerned, it's something that I don't have much expertise in, concreting that is. But myself and a couple of other guys, Brett and Peter, we managed to sort out the formwork and the setting things out level. And this piece of land, when Dr. Mark bought it, was quite up and down, and the guys got stuck into it with shovels and picks by hand, and they dug a great hole in the hillside and spread it out, and they've actually managed to level the site within 4 inches across by their own eye. When we put the laser on it, the laser level on it, it was only 4 inches out. So it's quite awesome. What really helped us was the guys that would show up and mix the concrete, and not like we do at home, but it's really back-breaking work. The water that they had to get for the cement was brought in from about 20 minutes boat ride down the island, because they just had a drought period and there was no water nearby, so they actually carried the water by boat to a point nearby here and then carried it by 20-litre containers up to the site here. And I think the gravel, some of the coral gravel too, came by boat and island truck, which is on the local shoulders. I would wear out quite quickly, but those guys just keep going all day, and they just do it so well without a murmur of complaint, and they're such strong guys too.
It'd be good to have it enclosed on the back.
The hangar design is like a semicircle type of shape where it's got a curved roof, and the plan is to have the plane underneath and our living quarters on the top. One of the things I'm looking forward to most about moving into the hangar will be that we'll have a lot more space, and that will be really helpful, especially in the kitchen, because at the moment our house is really tiny and not a lot of space for anything. So I think having more space and just being able to have things more organized will be really helpful.
Naomi has a focused passion for the children on 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗚 and has overseen the school project since its inception. The need for a school and a school building was born out of the Sabbath school studies. With the school program, the children would benefit tremendously from learning how to read and write, study the Bible, learn English, math, and basic problem-solving skills that will help them through their life. In addition to basic school studies, Naomi, Mark, and their daughter Kay have helped to educate the people with the health message. With a better understanding of how the body works, the people are empowered with the ability to make better decisions for themselves and their families. Naomi spends long days at the school working with the students and the teachers, and along with the hard work comes many rewarding moments.
I have a lot of rewarding moments with the children in the school, almost daily actually, just seeing them learning and appreciating and seeing lights turning on, in their minds as they learn new things. That's really rewarding. Another experience I've had is working with the teachers and doing some teacher training and encouraging the teachers and seeing them grow in their, not just in their methods of teaching, but in their spiritual experience too. That's been really rewarding.
A lot of the church members and the parents for the kids in the school are coming out today, and this is a copra day, and so what they're doing is they're going around and they're cutting up the coconut, and each family here is taking a bag of coconut down to the beach. The copra ship will pick it up. Copra is basically just the inside of a coconut, and they sell it to these big ships, and they use the refined the coconut to take the oil out of it to make coconut oil.
The funds from harvesting copra are then used to help to support the school and impress upon the people the value of education.
Every Thursday afternoon we get together, all the teachers in the school. We currently have 4 teachers working here and myself as well as the principal. We get together and have a season of prayer for all the students. We find this is a really beneficial time for us. It bonds us together as teachers as well as helping with the students. We do see results. When we pray for the students, we really see that God answers our prayers and helps them.
Smile!
Okay, we're going to go and see Rosie. She's, I think, an 8-year-old girl who is just recovering from cerebral malaria. I believe it was cerebral malaria. We gave her anti-malarials. Anyway, we've given her this treatment, and we're giving her the tablet form now. And we've been told she's well on the road to recovery. We were a little bit afraid that she might have developed some brain damage because she was very hot. She was unconscious. And cerebral malaria, it kills a lot of people on planet Earth. So we'll go and have a look and see how she's doing.
The night I arrived in 𝗖𝗚 was the night that the neighbor girl named Rosie had fallen deathly ill with cerebral malaria. Dr. Mark, as the natives call him, went over to see Rosie and her family to try to help. There was reasonable concern for her life as her condition was rapidly deteriorating. That night, Dr. Mark gave her some powerful medicine and prayed that her condition wasn't bad enough to cause brain damage. So now we're going to find out if the medicine really worked and how well.
You having good small? You been kakala morning yet? Okay, so her eyes are very clear and seems to be interacting normally. I'll just have a listen to her little heart. No got fever. So have you kaka plenty in the morning?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you some drink too?
Yes.
You've been given medicine in the morning. These very simple medicines here are very powerful. 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦. Wish we could have more of it. We don't have enough in this country for the amount of malaria patients. So I think, let me start recovering good. So God is good. But you make one small prayer. Lord, tell him thank you, big man.
Yes.
Okay, let's pray. Was it by me pray? Papa God long in heaven, thank you for...
Truly, Dr. Mark and his family are making a remarkable difference in Vanuatu, not only saving lives like Rosie's, but saving souls for eternity.
Mark, Naomi and Kay, their ministry is making quite an impact in the medical area. The differences that they're making on this island are incredible, saving lives, and even the basic medical needs are being met excellently by their ministry.
One thing we've found with medical ministry, it really is what the Lord made it, and that is it's Christ's method. And Jesus mingled with people as one who desired their good. He sympathized with them, he ministered to their needs, he won their confidence, and then he said, follow me. And weaving medical ministry into this project is helping us to reach people and helping us to make friends and bond with people in a way that would not be possible in any other way. So Hamia, he come also in one medicine?
Yes.
Will you give him one? Had a very deep cut into his hand here, and so today is the day we're going to pull those stitches out. Detect a cyst in this area, so in this case we're going to do the wait and see thing again. We don't have a lot of tests available to us, and so sometimes when something is just developing it's not clear exactly what it is. So I think we'll observe him, and in a week's time we'll review him. Okay, this gentleman has a history of tuberculosis, which he was treated for, and then to me, I would say he's had a recurrence of TB. And so I took him to Santo, and apparently they didn't find TB in the system, but I'm just not sure if they were looking hard enough. But anyway, he's come back, and now he's got a very slow healing ulcer on his leg. Oh, it looks pretty bad. Probably the main problem here is the lack of hygiene, I think. This stuff here, if we could get unlimited supply of this, we'd be very happy, because we have so many sores and ulcers here, and we've tried everything, and we find that this triple antibiotic cream is the most effective. And we usually water it down or mix it with another cream to make it go further. And so I'm going to give some to this gentleman, and we'll give him some 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦, because that looks like probably a gram-positive infection. We have a fracture case. Wish we had an X-ray machine, but that we don't have. We diagnosed this as some kind of distal radial fracture, or possibly one of the carpal bones there. We're not sure which bone. But anyway, we're going to stabilize the joint and put a plaster of Paris cast on this. We had an ectopic pregnancy case recently. A lady presented with very severe abdominal pain. As soon as I saw her, I could see that she was going into shock, internal bleeding, and so we took her to our clinic, which was next door. And so we were planning to leave her for the following day and evacuate her, take her to Santo. I was going to fly her to Santo, but the following day the rain was very bad, and so we had to just go ahead with the operation with the consent of the family. It was a kind of scary moment, because we didn't have the ultrasound diagnosis. We didn't have the ultrasound with us at the time. At the beginning of the operation, her blood pressure was unrecognizably low. Her pulse rate was 168 plus. Her saturation was down below 70, and so she was in severe shock. But her life was in danger, and so we had to operate. As soon as we opened up, lots of blood came out, and we were able to locate the small embryo and close off the tube that was ruptured. As soon as we did that, her blood pressure stabilized, and praise the Lord, she recovered without any complications. We just believe that God especially intervened in this case, because this lady was very, very ill, and this was the first laparotomy case in this area. And so it was kind of a high impact procedure, which had a lot of influence in promoting the Lord's work in this area. So anyway, we believe that God is good, and He's helping in what we're doing.
Like Dr. Mark said, the Lord used this operation to further an awareness of our mission work throughout all of Vanuatu. Word spread as far away as the capital city of Port Vila that he had successfully performed this complex operation in the jungle. This created a profound respect and trust for Mark and his family amongst all the people on 𝗖𝗘𝗚 and the neighboring islands. Grateful for Dr. Mark's effort in saving this woman's life, her family members donated the use of their newly built home as a temporary clinic building.
We keep our medicines here, and surgical gowns and etc. in these drums to prevent rats from getting in and de-sterilizing them.
With successful operations such as the ectopic pregnancy, the people learn not only that they can trust Dr. Mark with their medical concerns, but also with their spiritual curiosities. Such was the case in this instance when a patient of his asked him for a Bible study for the very first time.
We're about to go to a Bible study. This lady has requested a Bible study. It's kind of significant. Simeon is the uncle of this lady. In English, he's an uncle. In the 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦 terminology, he's actually a father, a kind of father to this lady. It's significant in that this is probably the first time that anybody's been able to have a Bible study in this family. Hemi one good fella angel. Hemi nembla him Lucifer. Hemi mean him light bearer. One man where hemi hold him light. Suppose no. I think by me lose finish. She had an incident in her life recently which is making her search into spiritual things, her and her husband. She gave birth to and the baby died, and so now she's got a lot of questions because in their culture they believe that a devil was involved in making this baby, and so we're going to talk to her about what the Bible says about devils and angels, etc., and see if we can help her through this thing. One angel will by sing a big one. Patients don't pay me money for treatments or consultations, but they do give me food, and so we have a lot of really tasty tropical fruits and vegetables regularly coming to us in return for the treatments that we provide. Look at that. It actually helps the relationship with my patients to make sure that they understand that there's some cost has been involved in their care, and so I make sure that they do bring me some food and just let them know that I appreciate their food and I know that they appreciate the care that I'm providing.
And then we have a whole lot of sweet potatoes. Okay, thank you very much.
On Sabbath, I talked about our accepting God's call in our lives and used Dr. Mark's influence on the island and Rosie, who almost died of cerebral malaria, as an example. It was easy to see how important it is for all of us to follow God's calling, as Dr. Mark and his family did when they decided to become missionaries.
How many people you received help from Dr. Mark? Raise your hand. If Dr. Mark would not have accepted the call, you would not got any help. She would be dead. It's the same for all of you. God is calling you. And your influence, when you give your life to God, He uses you to influence other people.
Being involved in the mission field has really been an encouragement to me, especially in my spiritual life. I've gained a lot of blessings, and it's been, I believe, a real blessing to me to grow up in the mission field. While we've been here in Vanuatu for the last more than a year, I've been helping out with teaching early teens. There's been many challenges teaching them, but it's been a real blessing as well, seeing them changing some of their ways. Yeah, I speak 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧𝗦 fluently. I've tried to learn some of the local languages. They're a little bit more challenging, but I'm learning slowly. I've spent a lot of time with a lot of the young people around here, trying to be a good example to them, being an example to them of what they can do when they're older.
Right now, there are many young people being used by God all over the world with layman ministries. They each are having a powerful influence in the lives of others. The one thing that I always hear from the missionaries when they return back home is how immeasurably the experience strengthened their relationship with God and changed them forever.
If I had an opportunity to share with young people, I just want to encourage them to go ahead with any opportunity they have to be a missionary, whether it be in their neighbourhood or whether it be going overseas or whatever they may have, whatever opportunities they have, just to use their opportunities to be a missionary. I think Being involved in the mission field for any period of time, whether it be short or particularly a longer period of time, it would be a great blessing to any young person because they could gain so much, so many blessings in their spiritual life. Of course, young people face many challenges, but you learn so much working for other people and helping other people that are in need.
Having the plane now has changed our lives a lot and made life a whole lot more easy for us. Before the plane arrived, we would get to town probably once about in 6 months, and when we did come to town it would be a really big job to get everything done, so we'd have to maybe stay for a full week getting all the supplies that we needed, and then sometimes we'd have to wait several days until we could find out when the next ship was going up towards 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧, and then carry all the stuff down, put it on the dock, and then sometimes after going through all that we would fly back to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧 and we'd wait for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks and the ship still hadn't brought all the supplies. So having the mall has really made a big difference, and it's a real blessing. Yeah, we're here in Santo in 𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗚𝗏 town doing our shopping. Just come into this is the best store in town really to find the kind of supplies that we're looking for. So we'll see what we can find today. It takes quite a lot of time. You can't do shopping in 1 hour in a place like this. It can take maybe half a day just to do your groceries. Grocery shopping for me usually means for 3 months in advance, so I have to do bulk supplies. So we have limited space in the plane and a limit on how much weight I can take. So if I can't take it all in the plane, I'll have to wait for a ship to carry the bags of flour and the heavier stuff.
This is Santo Market, a good place to get food, and there's quite a lot of variety here.
By the time we fly it and get back to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏, the bananas are a bit squished and the tomatoes are not quite in the right shape, but anyway, we make do.
While on the island of Santo, Dr. Mark took the opportunity to get in touch with some local shipping companies, trying to figure out how to be able to get the new trusses for our hangar. There was an urgency to get these trusses up to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏 to protect the airplane during cyclone season. Dr. Mark and his family had also been asked to leave their current home in December, so getting the hangar finished quickly was going to be essential. To make things even more difficult, construction on the trusses had been delayed several times. Due to these delays, they missed being placed on earlier ships going to the Bank Islands, where 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏 is located.
I'm going to check up on a couple of other ships that may be going up into Banks, just as a backup, because you can never be too organized in this place. Okay, I come to see about whether you've got a ship going to Banks next week. We've discovered that there are 2 possibilities for a ship next week, which is good, which is great. The chances of one working out is reasonable. Hello, is that Jenny? Jenny, you Jenny?
With 2 possible ships heading upward toward 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗏, the chances of getting the trusses seemed possible. Now it was down to finding out which ship would do it, but communication is always a serious challenge.
You Jenny? Hello, you Jenny?
Also getting things onto the island is really difficult because we have to wait for boats, the small copper boats, to come up and carry the goods. Sometimes that's food, sometimes that's building materials, and other things we're waiting on quite urgently. So that can be really quite challenging.
Okay, stay. Okay, bye.
We're at a shipping agent here, which these people are looking promising. And we're just coming to check to work out shipping arrangements for our trusses. So it's a big undertaking to get stuff shipped around in this country.
The shipping company now decided it was not going to send a ship in the near future to the Banks Island area because they didn't have enough things to transport.
It's coming on Thursday as well. And I really need that stuff up there as soon as possible. You can't do a trip? Okay, thanks. We were hoping to get a hold of our trusses and building materials for the hangar sent up long before now, and our second option was an extra trip this coming week, but that's fallen through as well. So now we're going to have to go and find another ship to do the job.
When I first arrived in Vanuatu, Mark took me to see the trusses in Port Vila as they were finishing up the construction. Having seen for myself how big and heavy they are, it was easy to see why shipping them up to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗜𝗧 was really a big challenge.
So these are the trusses, huh?
Yeah, these are the trusses that have taken a bit too long to get together.
When were they supposed to actually get there?
Supposed to be about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Oh man. So this is like 1/2 a truss, so 2 of these make like 1 part of the roof?
This is half a truss. We'll be putting them together, two of these part circles here, to make a semi-spherical building. There's going to be 6 trusses altogether, and as you can see, they're pretty well built.
Yeah. How are you going to get these up to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗧? I mean,
well, we got that's our big headache. We got ships that go up that way, but it's not very regular, and so we just have to get the right timing.
How many more they got to do?
This is the last. I mean, last one, huh? I mean, last one.
Wow.
You finished now? Okay. So they're very close to finishing now. This is just coming to the end of the trusses here. One coming down from there. I think Bayuvala finished today, huh? No? Yeah? Oh, number 1.
So actually be today on these. That'll be great.
You can see all the welding that's been involved. It's been a big job, and but they're just finishing up today. It looks like. So we're very happy about that.
With both shipping options falling through, Dr. Mark went to the customs office to see if there's any other possibilities.
Might be sometime next week, I think.
Which one?
Small ship.
So it is.
So it is. So Simena, we should confirm that long.
Because actually, I've got some big trusses.
Oh, are they coming?
Maybe I should give you a size. You got a piece of paper there?
Yeah.
The distance from here to here is 12 meters.
And I want trusses.
This is truss. Trusses for big hangar. So what do you think? So we just found out there is a ship going up next week to Banks. But it's a small ship, and we're just not sure if these big trusses are going to be able to fit onto the ship. So I need to talk to the owner of the ship and discuss with him about dimensions, whether the trusses are going to be able to fit on the ship. They were going to have another shipment going up, but they've delayed it again. So, and we missed the first one, missed the second one. So the people manufacturing delayed about 4 weeks. The production was delayed about 4 weeks. So we missed that ship. We were hoping to get on their second journey, but that was postponed. And so now we're looking at another ship because it's just taken too long to get these trusses taken up to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗧𝗦.
So you work while you talk with him.
Okay, thank you, Rose. Hello, Simeon. Yeah, just American style hangar. It's
Although the trusses might fit on this ship, a question was unresolved about the timing of them getting there. In the meantime, after flying back to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗧𝗦, we were planning a 2-day trip up to the last frontier of Vanuatu. In this case, Dr. Mark had been in the beginning stages of befriending a group of Nivan people on the island of Toga in Turnbull province.
It's a really tight fit. I don't know if I'll be able to do this. We're getting ready to fly up to the Turnbull province, the upper Turnbull province islands. The reason that Mark and Naomi chose 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗧𝗦 is because this is kind of like the gateway to the last frontier of Vanuatu. And then from here we can go up to this unreached area up in the Northern Banks tourist group. And that's where we're going to fly to right now with all this stuff.
Dr. Mark speaks very highly of these people, their friendliness and their remarkable hospitality.
Almost 5 gallons of gasoline sitting next to me there.
Thankfully, we were able to pack a lot of supplies in the plane, such as a chainsaw, extra gasoline, medical equipment, video gear, bags, and, well, I had to make do with whatever room was left over for the 2.5-hour flight. For the last year, the people on Toga have been carving out a grass airstrip right in the middle of this jungle. They're not finished yet, so we will have to land on a nearby island of Loh𝗓 and take a dangerous 2-hour boat ride to Toga in the morning. In Vanuatu, you'll see huge bats flying around at dusk. The local people call them flying foxes or flying devils because they make a high-pitched shriek when they get aggressive, though most of the time they just love to eat mangoes.
Landed here in the island of Loh𝗓 on the Tora province. We're going to be staying here tonight, and then tomorrow we're going to load up all this stuff and we're going to go over to the island of Toga on a small boat. So we're going to pack all our gear into these barrels, and we're hoping for good weather tomorrow, and they said that there's a chance that the water is going to be pretty rough.
Oh, coconut, fantastic.
Upon arriving in Toga, the locals were incredibly generous. They had prepared an assortment of fruit for us, including papaya, pineapple, bananas, and coconuts. We also attracted quite a crowd. Anita and Reginald graciously gave up their bamboo home for us to stay in while we were there.
We got here on the boat just a little while ago, and we just finished having a quick snack that they provided for us, treated us very graciously. We're going to walk up really quick here. It's about half hour to 45 minutes up to where they're carving an airstrip. This island is extremely isolated because it's so hard to get to it. It's surrounded by a lot of big cliffs and huge waves, and if they could finish this airstrip, this would be a really great way for Doctor+Family and other people to be able to come here and visit. This is one of the last frontiers here in the northern Tora Banks Island group.
One of the main purposes for this visit to Toga Island was to encourage the people on their work on this airstrip, as well as giving Doctor+Family an opportunity to survey the progress made since his last visit. We also brought a chainsaw to help cut up and remove some of the larger trees. Otherwise, this huge clearing you see here has been done by hand with axes and simple bush knives.
Well, we've had a lot of work done since I was last here.
This is definitely a short takeoff and landing aircraft type airstrip at the moment. We've only got to 300 meters. Over the next few months, we're hoping that will be extended to 450 meters. But they've done a lot of work, and they're very excited about it. And we're hoping in April we're going to have an opening ceremony and land the MALL aircraft on Toga Island. That'll be history.
But right here, like in this situation, we have people that are nationals that are living here that are donating like land for this airstrip, and this is not a small piece of land. A couple of the other islands too where people are donating land to put airstrips in just so our ministry can have access to the island, right?
Yeah, it's for the benefit of these people in case of an emergency, so they've been happy to allow the use of the land, and they've also given their time. Tremendous amount of community work has been involved in working on this airstrip.
And I just want to thank all the viewers that have donated to various projects, and just remember there's people right here that are also sacrificing to help these things happen.
𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗓𝗧 Island was really a really good experience. The people were so friendly and really warm and accepting. It was a really good experience going to 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗓𝗧. They were much more receptive than a lot of the other places we've been.
That evening, the women began preparing a feast. They worked for hours preparing a special type of 𝗬𝗬𝗓𝗧. A various assortment of southern Pacific roots called yams are cooked in banana leaves, which are then pounded and broken down. Apparently there was something funny about a foreign white guy making 𝗬𝗬𝗓𝗧. Papaya fruit is also being prepared for cooking. Back inside the house, hot stones are removed and banana leaves are placed down in the pit. The papaya is poured into the banana leaves and then the coconut cream is sprinkled over the top. The banana leaves are folded up and hot stones are carefully placed on top and left to cook. The hot stones are first dipped into water to clean off some of the ashes and then dropped into the coconut cream to thicken it. The 𝗬𝗬𝗓𝗧 was tasty with the sweet coconut cream, but was incredibly rubbery thick. I think one bite almost is sufficient for dinner.
That's the finished product. Now we're going to try to eat some of it. Yum, yum.
We had a really enjoyable time that night talking and laughing with the people on 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗓𝗧. Bonding with these dear people helps them to trust us and to be open to the precious truths we bear. The next morning, Dr. Mark held a medical clinic for the people on 𝗖𝗥𝗘𝗗𝗓𝗧. Many of the people have problems with their teeth, which is a real common problem throughout the islands. Dr. Mark is sometimes left with no other option than pulling them.
We have very basic sterilization systems here in Vanuatu, but we've got to make the best with what we've got.
He tries to be cautious and will only pull a tooth as a last resort. Some of the people think that the only way to remove the pain is to pull the tooth, when the two may not even be related.
So there's a wisdom tooth with all three roots have come out. So mission accomplished. Okay.
The evening before, some of the villagers mentioned that they had a string band, so today they treated us by playing a few tunes. One of their songs was written about a story of an elder son who had died drinking kava on the neighboring island of 𝗬𝗏. One day, while getting ready to fly back to 𝗬𝗏, Mark heard the bad news. He was asked to deliver this grim news to the father by dropping a bottle with a message in it while flying over the village. The grief of his son's death spread across the whole island, and this band wrote a song commemorating the incident called Message in a Bottle. After a memorable trip into the jungles of one of the most remote areas in the world, we could see a lot of progress had been made. Hopefully in April of 2010, this little orange plane will make history by being the first plane to land on this island, on a runway specifically built for layman ministries, and all for the very purpose of carrying the three angels' messages into the last frontier of Vanuatu. God is opening so many doors, doors a few years ago that were completely shut. Other islands are also building airstrips so Dr. Mark can assist them. We flew over this island and dropped a box with some gloves, medicines, and other materials to assist and encourage these people to continue clearing the land for their airstrip. In just a couple years, God has miraculously provided an incredible mall bush plane, and now even runways on multiple islands. When laboring for the cause of God, there are always difficulties and challenges, but faith and persistence goes a long ways, and such is the case with the trusses for the hangar, when after many delays and challenges, they finally arrived on 𝗬𝗏.
I would highly recommend that people give mission work like this an opportunity. Make some time in their lives because it's a great experience. It's something that you will remember for the rest of your life.
When speaking about his second coming, Jesus said, "This gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come." Having just left the last frontier of Vanuatu in one of the most remote areas in the world, and one of the last places to hear the three angels' messages, it is a sobering proof that we are living in the last days. Now is the time to cry out these soul-saving truths and prepare the world to meet its Creator.